Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Amy from With Love by Amy. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we are going to make this Christmas card with a sentiment on the front. This is different than how I would traditionally make my Christmas cards. Ordinarily the bigger sentiment would go on the inside. However, this time I decided to change it up a little bit. We are going to use the Ornamental Pine stamp set. It's a very old Stampin' Up! Stamp set, but it's a timeless one because the pine branch is, that can always be used. Never goes out of style. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ink up the pine needles with Garden Green from Stampin' Up! And the branch, or the stems, I guess, are going to be chocolate chip. And it's actually pretty easy without any masking to just do the needles of the pine tree and then do the branch with the chocolate chip without doing any masking. And I was pretty pleased with the way it turned out. So the Garden Green pad is an older one, so it's one of the, I guess, linen ones, and it's kind of hard. It's really old, but it took a couple inkings to get good ink coverage. Maybe it's dry too. I don't even know. I don't use these inks very often. I should use them more because they're good basic colors, but I need to re-ink them. Here we are taking forever to get enough ink on it. Like I just said, it takes forever. But it did take a couple of tries, which is why the MISTI is very helpful, because otherwise I would not have been able to stamp it down in the same spot again, and it would have been very frustrating. So in this circumstances, the MISTI is a lifesaver. All right, and here we go with the chocolate chip ink to stamp the stem. Yeah, like I said, it's really not that hard with this stamp to get good two different colors going on without masking. I chose a tan card base. I have no idea what brand the cardstock is. It's not very heavy, so I'm hoping next time I have to order colored cardstock, I will get some that's a little heavier weight. This stuff is very old, I think. Back from my scrapbooking days, I had a million tons of colored cardstock. All right, so after we get the pine needles or the pine branch stamped, I'm going to emboss this ornament that's also part of the Ornamental Pine set. We're going to emboss it in Detail Gold embossing powder. I did use the embossing buddy bag first because we don't need any random gold embossing powder on my card. All right, so we're going to emboss the card with the ornament on it, and for some reason the ornament didn't end up as shiny as I was thinking it would. And then I didn't show it here, but I did the little hook that the ornament is being held up by. I did that with silver embossing powder, but I did make sure that I used the embossing buddy again before I did the second set of embossing with the silver. And then because the ornament wasn't as shiny and beautiful as I thought it was going to be, I had already removed the stamp. Like a bad move on my part. I should not have moved the stamp. I could have re-inked it up with the embossing ink and gone over it again, but I had already removed it from my MISTI. Bad move. So I decided to get out my clear Wink of Stella pen. That's actually the only Wink of Stella that I have, and I made it a little more shiny. I love it. It turned out great. And then I put the sentiment on there with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And then after I saw the card, I was like, it is a good one-layer card, but it wasn't enough for me. And this is where things start to go crazy. So I thought I could use this fancy, I don't know what it is, fancy corner rounder. Ordinarily, it would work just fine, and it did work fine on the outer edges of the outer corners of the card. But here we go. Look at me trying to do the folding part of the card. Yeah, it's not working. So here I am trying to fix my situation here. I took my bone folder and I tried to flatten out the seam of the card there to see if I could get it in there to make it look better. Yeah, I'm almost ruining my card here. Do you see it got like a fold in it because I'm trying to jam it into the corner rounder? So frustrated with myself at this point. I was like, why couldn't I just say enough was enough? Yeah, I couldn't, obviously. So now I have to figure out a solution here. So I decided to try the round corner rounder and see if that'll work. It didn't really do a good enough job, so here I am left with my scissors, and I'm just going to round it with my scissors. I'm going to do the both hinge corners with my scissors because it didn't work otherwise, and I didn't know what else to do to salvage it, so that's what I did. I had someone in my last video request that I leave my bloopers in, so that's what I did. I left my bloopers in this video. I could have just cut that all out and been like, ta-da, here we go, beautiful card. But I didn't. I left in my mistakes. And I'm putting a card panel on the inside, and I did the corners the same way. I did 2 with the fancy corner rounder, and then the other 2 that are going to go to the hinge are getting the round corner rounder. And I'm going to put that sentiment from the same stamp set, from the Ornamental Pine stamp set. On the inside it says Christmas Wishes. And now we adhere that to the inside of the card. Part of the reason I did the card panel on the inside of this card is because that cardstock is not very strong. And so it just needed something. And I also decided to do the envelope. So we are going to use the Electro Pops ink from Gina K. We're using Screamin' Green and Loud Lime. And this stamp was a new to me stamp from my mom's cousin. She handed it down to me when she thinned out her stash before she moved. And it's very old. It has a copyright date of 1994 on it. It's a cool stamp, but it's very old. So I guarantee you it's not available anymore. So pretty much any pine tree stamp would do the same trick. And what I decided to do here was alternate colors from the Screamin' Green to the Loud Lime. And I ended up with the size of that pine tree, I was able to get 5 pine trees on the envelope flap. And here we go. Here's the finished product. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.